Just picture this. Your sister ditches her 5-year-old daughter in a filthy Chicago apartment for 4 days. No food, no water, just some stale cracker crumbs, to party in Miami. Then she spins a lie that the kid was kidnapped, tricking you into canceling your dream wedding. That's the nightmare my sister Sarah dragged me into, and it's just the start. I'm Anna, and this is my fight to save my niece, Lily, from a mother willing to torch our family to hide her mistakes. You'll hear about betrayal, lies, and the courage of a little girl you can't look away from. Will justice prevail, or will Sarah's schemes tear us apart? Stick around. You won't believe how this unfolds. Growing up in Chicago's gritty South Side, Sarah and I were thick as thieves. Sarah was the wild older sister, dreaming of being a super cool mom, throwing epic birthday parties and never nagging about bedtimes. When Lily was born, Sarah seemed to nail it, posting cute pics, singing lullabies, teaching Lily to count stars. But cracks showed fast. By Lily's 3rd birthday, Sarah was more into late-night clubs than bedtime stories. As a single mom, she leaned on me, Anna, the responsible younger sister working 50-hour weeks at a bank. I didn't mind at first. Lily, with her big brown eyes and radiant smile, became my world. I watched her weekends, then weekdays, sometimes rushing from work to pick her up when Sarah forgot. I thought I was helping a struggling mom. I was wrong. Sarah's promises to change were empty. She'd vanish for hours, leaving Lily with neighbors or even alone. I once found Lily in their rundown apartment, surrounded by beer cans, eating dry cereal. Still, I hoped Sarah would snap out of it. That hope died when she asked me to watch Lily during my wedding week in Hawaii. I said no. Jack and I had saved 2 years, $12,000 for our big day. Sarah just smirked, saying she'd figure it out. I should have known that smirk hid a plot to wreck everything. Calling Child Protective Services was the first step, but it didn't feel like a win. CPS in Chicago sounded swamped. The voice on the line exhausted, like they heard stories like mine daily. I spilled everything. Lily left alone for 4 days, no power, no food, and Sarah's cruel lie about a kidnapping. The woman took notes, saying a social worker would visit within 48 hours. 48 hours, I yelled. A 5-year-old's abandoned and you need 2 days? She sighed, explaining that since Lily had shelter and wasn't seriously hurt, it wasn't urgent. I wanted to smash the phone, but Jack touched my shoulder, reminding me to focus on Lily. We brought Lily to our place, a small but tidy apartment in Logan Square. She clung to my hand the whole way, like she feared I'd vanish. I bathed her, washing her matted hair, and dressed her in an old t-shirt of mine as pajamas. Jack made spaghetti with marinara, the only thing we had. Lily wolfed it down like it was her first meal in days. Watching her, I couldn't stop thinking about Sarah. What was she doing in Miami? Partying again, laughing with friends while her daughter starved. I tried to push the anger away, but it smoldered in my chest. 2 days later, the social worker, a middle-aged woman named Carol, came to Sarah's place. We were there, with Lily. The apartment was still a mess, reeking of trash and beer, dishes piled up, a filthy blanket on the couch where Lily slept. Carol took notes, snapped photos, and talked to Lily. In a tiny voice, Lily said her mom went to play far away and told her to take care of herself. Carol nodded, but her face promised nothing. She said they'd open a case, but the system prioritizes keeping kids with their parents. I gripped Jack's hand to keep from screaming. Keep Lily with Sarah, the mom who ditched her for 4 days to party? Jack and I decided to keep Lily with us, at least until CPS acted. We turned our office into her room, buying a small bed and some picture books. Her favorite was one about a dinosaur who lost its mom. Each time we read it, Lily hugged me tight, like she feared I'd leave too. I started to realize Lily wasn't just my niece. She was the light in my life, and I'd do anything to protect her. Then Sarah came back. Wednesday afternoon, a cab pulled up outside our place. Sarah stumbled out, hair a mess, eyes bloodshot, clothes reeking of smoke and booze. She pounded on the door like she'd break it down. "Anna, give me Lily now. You dare steal my kid." I blocked the doorway, trying to stay calm. "Sarah, you left Lily alone for 4 days. You lied about a kidnapping. You think I'd let her go back with you?" Sarah sneered, her voice slurred. "You always act like a saint. I'm her mom, and you're nothing." She tried to shove past me, but Jack stepped up, his voice firm. "Sarah, leave, or we're calling the cops." Sarah didn't stop. She screamed, calling me a kidnapper, hurling her purse at the glass door, cracking a corner. Neighbors peeked out, one filming. Lily heard the noise and ran over, but I scooped her up, carrying her to the back room. "Aunt Anna, is Mommy mad at me?" she asked, eyes welling up. I kissed her forehead, saying everything would be okay, though I wasn't sure myself. Finally, I called 911. 2 officers arrived, one recognizing Sarah from a prior report. They told her to leave, but she kept yelling, accusing me of stealing Lily and turning her against her. An officer grabbed her arm, guiding her to the patrol car to cool off. Before the car pulled away, Sarah glared at me through the window, her eyes sharp as knives. "You'll regret this, Anna," she said. I shivered, not from fear, but from realizing Sarah wouldn't stop. She'd do anything to win, no matter how it hurt Lily. After the police left, I sat with Lily reading the dinosaur book again. She fell asleep in my lap, but I couldn't rest. Sarah was back, and I knew she was plotting something worse. This fight wasn't just about Lily anymore. It was about facing a sister I once loved, now a stranger ready to destroy everything. I held Lily tighter, swearing I wouldn't let Sarah take her. Never. After the chaos with Sarah, I thought I'd hit rock bottom in this nightmare. I was wrong. Sarah wasn't just a reckless mom. She played dirty. Days after the cops hauled her off, a sharply dressed courier dropped off an envelope from the court. Inside was a thick stack of papers labeled Emergency Custody Petition. My heart sank as I read. Sarah, backed by her brother James, a hotshot Chicago lawyer, was suing me. They accused me of kidnapping Lily, smearing me as a mentally unstable and dangerous influence on kids. Reading those words felt like a punch to the gut. How dare they? James wasn't just Sarah's brother. He was a legal shark, known for winning cases others called hopeless. I used to admire him. Now he was the enemy. The lawsuit listed wild claims that I kept Lily to spite Sarah, that I was unfit to care for a child due to a history of mental illness. They dug up my old medical records from 4 years ago when I got treatment for anxiety after a bad breakup. It was a secret I never shared with Sarah. How did they get it? The question sent chills down my spine. The real shocker was their witness. A guy named Carl, Sarah's drinking buddy, swore he saw me give Lily beer at a backyard family party at Sarah's place. Total lies. I barely went to Sarah's apartment, let alone threw parties. Carl's statement was vivid. Me handing Lily a can of beer, laughing as she drank, like I was some deadbeat. Reading it, I shook with rage. Jack had to hold my hands to stop me from tearing the papers apart. I called a lawyer, Mark, recommended by a coworker. Mark was young, eager, but no match for James's experience. In his cramped office, cluttered with files, Mark skimmed the petition and frowned. "They're plain dirty," he said. "Those medical records should be confidential, and this witness smells like a payoff." Mark urged me to gather evidence, texts, call logs, anything proving Sarah abandoned Lily. I dug through my phone, finding old messages from Sarah, like when she begged me to watch Lily just one night and vanished for a week. The deeper we looked, the uglier it got. Jack found an old Zelle transfer in my email from 3 months back, when Sarah sent me $50 to thank me for watching Lily. But Mark spotted another transaction in Carl's public Venmo, $1,000 from Sarah, days before his statement. "This isn't random," Mark said, eyes gleaming. "Sarah bribed him." I was stunned, but felt a spark of hope. If we could prove Carl lied, Sarah's case might collapse. That hope faded fast. James kept coming. He sent more documents, including a letter from a psychologist I'd never met, claiming I had a tendency to manipulate children. The letter was on James's law firm's letterhead, making it look legit. I called Mark, voice shaking. "They're trying to destroy me, Mark. How do we fight this?" Mark reassured me, but I heard the worry in his tone. James didn't just want custody for Sarah. He wanted to ruin my reputation, my life. That night, I lay beside Lily, listening to her steady breathing. She clutched her stuffed dinosaur, mumbling in her sleep. I thought of what she'd been through. 4 days alone, hungry, scared. I thought of Sarah, a mom willing to lie, bribe, and scheme to keep Lily-like property. And I thought of James, the brother who once bought me ice cream as a kid, now orchestrating this smear. Tears rolled down my cheeks, but I wiped them fast. I couldn't be weak. Not now. The next morning, Jack and I met with Mark to plan our counterattack. Mark suggested hiring a private investigator, but the cost floored me. $5,000, money we didn't have after losing our wedding deposit. Jack squeezed my hand. "We'll find a way. For Lily." I nodded, but my heart was heavy. Sarah and James were boxing us in, and I knew the upcoming trial would be a fight for our lives. I just hoped I was strong enough to protect Lily before Sarah took her for good. Court day, I wore my best navy dress, trying to look calm, but inside, I was on the edge. Jack adjusted his tie, his eyes worried but forcing a smile to lift me up. We left Lily with a close friend, sparing her the ordeal. The downtown Chicago courthouse was cold, marble walls echoing with footsteps. Mark, our lawyer, met us in the hall, arms full of files, looking like he'd slept a few hours all week. He whispered, "They'll play dirty, Anna, but we've got evidence. Stay cool." In the courtroom, Sarah sat across, dressed modestly, hair neat, looking like a model mom, nothing like the real her. James, her brother, stood beside her, black suit pristine, smirking like victory was his. The judge, an older woman with a stern gaze, flipped through papers, her gold pen scratching nonstop. The air was thick, like the room waited for a bomb to drop. James went first, his voice smooth, persuasive. He painted Sarah as a struggling single mom who made one small mistake, leaving Lily alone. He said I blew it out of proportion, using my love for Lily to steal her. Then the gut punch. He flashed my old medical records, calling me mentally unstable and untrustworthy. He even presented Carl, Sarah's drinking buddy, who swore he saw me give Lily beer. The judge frowned, jotting notes, and my heart stopped. Mark objected, saying the records were private and Carl's story baseless. But the judge just nodded, saying she'd consider it. Our turn, Mark showed evidence. Photos of Sarah's filthy apartment, empty cracker bowls, a recorded call from Miami, where Sarah laughed about fooling me. I took the stand, recounting finding Lily, hungry and scared, and Sarah admitting her kidnapping lie. I tried to stay steady, but tears fell when I mentioned Lily sleeping with a flashlight. Afraid of the dark, the judge listened, her face unreadable. Sarah went up, playing her part perfectly. She sobbed, claiming she just needed a little time for herself, and that I'd poisoned Lily against her. She looked at me, tears glinting, and I knew it was all fake. The hearing dragged for hours, tension choking me. Finally, the judge banged her gavel. She granted Sarah temporary custody, citing priority to keep children with their biological parent. While investigations continued, the floor dropped out from under me. Mark tried to argue, but the judge was done. We had 2 hours to return Lily to Sarah. I turned to Jack, tears spilling, but he just held me, whispering, "We'll get her back." At home, I knelt before Lily, forcing a smile though my heart shattered. "You'll stay with Mommy for a bit, but I'll see you soon, okay?" Lily clung to me, sobbing. "Don't let me go, Aunt Anna. Mommy doesn't love me." Her cries tore me apart. Jack packed her things, stuffed dinosaur, a few books, while I sat, helpless. At Sarah's apartment, she stood in the doorway, still in her perfect mom dress from court, but her smug grin gave her away. "You lost, Anna," she said, her voice sweet but sharp. Sarah yanked Lily's hand, pulling her inside, and the door slammed in my face. I collapsed on the sidewalk, sobbing, feeling like I'd lost everything. Jack lifted me up, but I couldn't stop thinking of Lily, stuck with a mother who didn't care. Sarah won for now, and I felt I'd failed Lily. But in the pain, a fire sparked. I wiped my tears, grabbed Jack's hand. "We're bringing Lily home," I said, voice shaky but firm. Sarah may have won this round, but I wasn't giving up. Never. The court loss left me hollow. Every night, I lay awake, haunted by Lily's screams as Sarah dragged her away. I called CPS daily but got vague replies. "The case is being processed." Jack tried to keep me strong, but his eyes betrayed worry whenever Lily's name came up. We lived in fear Sarah would hurt her, and I blame myself for not doing more to keep Lily with us. Then, 2 weeks after the hearing, everything changed. At midnight, our doorbell shattered the silence. Jack grabbed a baseball bat from the closet, thinking burglar. I opened the door, heart pounding, and there was Lily, shivering in thin pajamas, one eye bruised and swollen. She clutched her stuffed dinosaur, barefoot and muddy, hair soaked from rain. "Aunt Anna, I'm scared," she whispered, voice choked, then threw herself into my arms, sobbing. I held her tight, feeling her tiny body tremble. Jack dropped the bat, kneeling to check her, his face paling at the bruise. "Lily, what happened? Who did this?" I asked, keeping my voice steady despite the rage boiling inside. Sobbing, Lily explained in broken words. "Uncle Mike, he hit me. I broke a glass and he got mad. Mommy said I deserved it." I froze. Mike, Sarah's new boyfriend, a hulking guy with a violent rap sheet I'd heard neighbors mention. Lily went on, voice shaky, saying she waited until Sarah and Mike were asleep, heard their snores, then slipped out the back door. She walked 10 blocks in the dark, through freezing rain, guided only by memories of the route to our place. A 5-year-old, alone, crossing Chicago's dangerous streets to find me. The thought crushed my heart. I brought Lily inside, wrapping her in a warm blanket. Jack grabbed his phone, snapping photos of the bruise on her eye and red marks on her arms where handprints stood out. "We need evidence," he said, voice firm. I called 911, reporting the abuse and Lily's escape to our place. While waiting for police, I gave Lily a warm bath, dressed her in dry clothes, and made hot cocoa. She sipped it slowly, eyes still panicked, like she feared Mike would appear. "Aunt Anna, I don't want to go back to Mommy," she whispered, clinging to me. "I want to stay with you and Uncle Jack forever." Her words cut like a knife but fueled my resolve. Police arrived with a paramedic. The paramedic examined Lily, noting the eye bruise, arm marks, and a footprint-shaped bruise on her back. "These aren't accidental," she said, voice low. The officer, a tall man named Harris, listened as we explained, taking careful notes. When I mentioned Mike's criminal history and Sarah letting him live with Lily despite court orders, Harris frowned. "We'll investigate immediately," he said. "The girl can stay here tonight, but CPS will take over in the morning." After they left, I sat by Lily until she fell asleep in the living room, her hand gripping mine. Jack and I didn't sleep. We reviewed the bruise photos, preparing a detailed report for Mark, our lawyer. I called Mark at dawn, voice urgent. "Mark, Lily was hit. We have photos, medical reports. This changes everything, right?" Mark agreed, saying the abuse evidence was a game changer. "We'll file for emergency custody," he said, "but Sarah and James won't go down easy." At sunrise, I watched Lily sleep, her face peaceful despite the swollen eye. The bruise was proof of Sarah's failure, but also fuel for my fight. I knew Sarah would hit back, maybe with uglier lies, but this time I had undeniable evidence. I stroked Lily's hair, whispering, "I'll protect you, no matter what." The battle wasn't over, but I wouldn't let Lily hurt again. Lily's escape to our place, bruised and terrified, was a turning point, but I never imagined the nightmare could get worse. I thought Sarah and her boyfriend Mike were the worst I'd face, but I forgot someone else. My mom, Linda, the woman who taught me to tie my shoes, who held me when Dad left, now sided with Sarah, ready to stab me in the back. The morning after Lily arrived, Jack and I took her to a doctor to document her injuries. The doctor confirmed the bruise on her eye and handprints on her body were from abuse, not accidents. We sent the report to Mark, our lawyer, who immediately prepped an emergency custody motion. I felt a glimmer of hope, but it vanished when Mark called that afternoon. "Anna, bad news," he said, voice tense. "Sarah and James filed new evidence with the court, and this time they have a big witness, your mom." I froze like I'd been slapped. My mom, Linda, the woman I hadn't seen in 2 years since she took Sarah's side in a fight over Sarah neglecting Lily. Shaking, I asked Mark, "What did she say?" He sighed. "She claims you've always been jealous of Sarah, that you made up the abuse to steal Lily. She even said you've had mental issues since childhood, making things up for attention." His words cut like knives. My mom, once my rock, had betrayed me for Sarah, the daughter she always favored. I called her, hoping it was a mistake. When she answered, her voice was ice cold. "Anna, you're tearing this family apart. Sarah's Lily's mom, and you have no right to interfere." I yelled, "Mom, Sarah let Lily get beaten. She left her alone for 4 days. How can you defend her?" Linda's reply was sharp. "You're jealous of Sarah because she has a kid and you don't. You want Lily to fill your voids. Don't call me again." She hung up, leaving me with the dial tone echoing in my head. I collapsed on the couch, tears streaming. Jack held me, but I couldn't stop thinking about the betrayal. How could my mom lie like that? How could she choose Sarah, a mother who abandoned and let her child be hurt, over me? Then Jack found a clue. Digging through old emails, he spotted a bank notice showing Mom got a $3,000 transfer from Sarah a week before the hearing. Jack frowned. "Anna, your mom's got gambling debts, right?" I nodded, recalling her pleas for money to pay debts. It clicked. Sarah had bribed her, trading cash for a false statement against me. I sent the fine to Mark, who jumped on it. He contacted the bank, requesting detailed transaction records. The transfer receipt, with a message from Sarah saying, "Thanks for helping, Mom," was undeniable proof. Mark said, "This is a knockout. A mother lying for money to shield a daughter who abandoned her kid. No judge will ignore this." But the pain didn't fade. I thought family was my safe haven, but now my sister and Mom had turned on me. Watching Lily play with her stuffed dinosaur in the living room, her smile tinged with fear at every odd noise, I knew I wasn't just fighting for her, but for myself, to prove love and truth could beat lies. I wiped my tears, gripped Jack's hand. "We'll use their own game to take them down," I said, voice steady. The next hearing wouldn't just be a legal battle. It was a fight to save Lily from a family willing to sell her out for money and selfishness. My mom's betrayal cut deep, but I had no time to fall apart. Lily needed me, and I knew Sarah and James were plotting worse to reclaim her. I focused on caring for Lily, taking her to doctors and starting therapy to heal the trauma from abandonment and abuse. But days after discovering Mom's payoff from Sarah, a horrifying event pushed everything to the brink, revealing Sarah didn't just want to win the case. She wanted to destroy us at any cost. That morning, I took Lily to a nearby park to unwind. Driving back over a bridge in Logan Square, the car shook oddly. I thought flat tire, but turning onto a side street, the front wheel jerked, veering toward the curb. I slammed the brakes, heart racing, stopping just before hitting a tree. Lily screamed from the back seat, "Aunt Anna, what's wrong?" I glanced back, seeing her clutch her stuffed dinosaur, face pale. I reassured her, but my hands shook so bad I could barely call Jack. Jack rushed over, and we called our mechanic, Willie. Checking the car, he frowned, shaking his head. "Anna, this wasn't an accident. Someone loosened the lug nuts on the front wheel. A few more miles and it could have come off. You and Lily might have..." He trailed off, but I got it. A crash on that bridge, at speed, could have killed us both. I held Lily tighter, fear mixing with raging anger. Someone wanted us dead, and only one name came to mind: Sarah. I called Mark immediately, explaining everything. He urged us to report it to the police and suggested contacting Robert, the PI we'd hired despite borrowing from Jack's parents. Robert, a sharp-eyed ex-cop, came to our place that night. He inspected the car, photographed the tampered lug nuts, and said, "This was deliberate sabotage. I'll find who's behind it." In 2 days, Robert brought chilling news. He uncovered texts from Mike, Sarah's boyfriend, to a guy named Parker, a crook with a rap sheet for insurance fraud and car tampering. The message was clear: mess with Anna's front wheel. $500 when it's done. Robert also found security footage near our place, showing Parker lurking by my car at 2 a.m., the day before the incident. I trembled with fury and fear. Sarah didn't just abandon Lily, lie, or bribe witnesses. She hired someone to sabotage my car, willing to kill me and Lily to win. Jack gripped my hand, eyes blazing. "They've gone too far, Anna. We end this." I nodded, calling the police to submit evidence. Officer Harris, who handled Lily's abuse case, came quickly, seeing the video and texts. His face hardened. "This is attempted murder," he said. "We'll bring Sarah and Mike in for questioning." Hours later, police raided Sarah's apartment. They found her and Mike, both drunk, the place reeking of smoke and littered with beer cans. Sarah screamed as she was cuffed, yelling, "I set her up," calling me a venomous snake, out to ruin her life. Mike, haggard, tried to bolt but was grabbed at the door. As they were led to the patrol car, Sarah turned, glaring at me through the window, eyes burning with hate. "You'll pay, Anna," she shrieked before the car drove off. I stood there holding Lily, feeling relief and horror. Relief that Sarah was finally caught, but horror at how far she'd gone. I called Mark, recounting everything. He nearly cheered over the phone. "Anna, this is the evidence we need. Car sabotage, attempted murder. No judge will ignore this. We'll crush them at the next hearing." But hanging up, I felt no victory, just sadness. Sarah was once my sister, sharing ice cream, crying with me when Mom scolded us, Now she was a stranger, ready to destroy our family for selfishness. Watching Lily draw a rainbow in the living room, I vowed, no matter what Sarah did, she'd never touch Lily again. This fight was nearing its end, and I'd battle to the finish. The car's sabotage was the final straw, but it also ignited my resolve. Sarah and Mike were arrested, and the evidence of their plot was a sharp weapon in our hands. Jack and I weren't just fighting to protect Lily, we were battling to expose Sarah's true nature and ensure she'd never hurt Lily again. Mark, our lawyer, called after the police questioned Sarah. "Anna, we've got an airtight case," he said, voice buzzing. "But James is still her lawyer. He'll try to flip this. We need to be ready." Mark wasn't exaggerating. James, a slick veteran lawyer, didn't back down. Though Sarah was detained for attempted murder, he filed for her bail and sent the court new documents, accusing me of staging the car sabotage to smear Sarah. He even produced a new witness, a neighbor of Sarah's, claiming they saw me near my car the night of the incident. I was livid, but Mark calmed me. "It's a desperate move. We have the security video and Mike's texts. They can't deny those." Meanwhile, our PI, Robert, kept digging. He uncovered a bombshell. Sarah had embezzled over $20,000 from Lily's disability benefits, falsely claiming Lily had severe autism to qualify. Lily had no such diagnosis, and Sarah never took her to a specialist. Instead, she blew the money on parties, clothes, and paying Mom's gambling debts. Robert found bank statements, receipts, and a forged email from Sarah to the benefits agency, complete with a fake doctor's signature. "This is organized fraud," Robert said, handing me a thick file. "Sarah's not just a bad mom, she's a criminal." Mark paired this with our existing evidence. Photos of Lily's bruises, medical reports, video of Sarah's meltdown, and Zelle messages showing she bribed witness Carl. But Robert found another shocker. Carl, who claimed I gave Lily beer, recanted. He confessed to Robert that James threatened to report his drug debts to police unless he lied. Carl agreed to testify, exposing James's pressure and Sarah's $1,000 payment. "James is sweating," Mark said, grinning. "He knows he's losing." We gained an unexpected ally, Janet, the social worker on Lily's case. She'd visited Sarah's home after the abuse and noted its squalor. No food, Lily's stories of Mom always gone. Janet agreed to testify, describing Sarah as wholly unfit and praising the safe home Jack and I provided. Her statement gutted James's argument that Sarah deserved another chance. While prepping for the hearing, Jack and I kept Lily's life normal. We took her to the park, read books, taught her checkers, but nightly, Lily had nightmares, crying for me when dreaming of Mike. I held her, promising no one would hurt her again. Those moments reminded me why we fought, no matter the exhaustion or cost. The day before the hearing, Mark met us to review strategy. We had the car sabotage video, Mike's texts, fraud evidence, Carl's recantation, and Janet's testimony. But Mark warned, "James will go personal. He'll paint you as manipulative, Anna. Don't let him rattle you." I nodded, but fear gnawed. James was once my beloved brother, carrying me on his shoulders as a kid. Now he was my enemy, lying to shield Sarah. That night, I couldn't sleep. Sitting by Lily, watching her clutch her stuffed dinosaur, I thought of Sarah in jail, wondering if she felt remorse. I thought of James, wondering how he slept, knowing he defended a fraud. But mostly I thought of Lily, her smile, her trusting Aunt Anna. I wiped tears, stood, and checked Mark's files again. Tomorrow's hearing was our chance to turn the tide. Sarah and James played dirty, but this time, truth would win. I just hoped I was strong enough to face them and bring Lily home for good. The final hearing felt like entering an arena. Every eye on me, Jack, and Lily's fate. The packed Chicago courtroom buzzed with tension. I wore my familiar navy dress, gripping Jack's hand to steady my nerves. Lily stayed with a friend, but her bruised eye haunted me, fueling my fight. Mark, our lawyer, looked exhausted but determined, clutching files like weapons. Across, James sat rigid in a pricey suit. His usual confidence dimmed. Sarah, out on bail, sat beside him, pale, avoiding eye contact. I knew they were cornered, but I braced for James's last trick. The judge, an older man with a deep voice and sharp gaze, opened by calling James. His tone was smooth but strained, arguing Sarah was a misunderstood mom, her mistakes. Abandoning Lily, letting Mike abuse her, the car sabotage, mere pressures of single motherhood. He tried discrediting our evidence, calling the security video edited and Carl's confession a junkie's lie. But targeting me, his voice turned venomous. Anna's a jealous sister, manipulating Lily against her mother. She's unfit to be a guardian. I squeezed Jack's hand, fighting tears of rage. Mark's turn was ruthless. He laid out evidence like precise blows. Lily's bruise photos, medical reports confirming abuse, Sarah's meltdown video, Zell texts proving witness bribery, and documents showing Sarah embezzled $20,000 in disability funds. He called Janet, the social worker, to testify. She described Sarah's filthy apartment, Lily's fear of her mom, and the safe home Jack and I provided. Lily needs stability, not a mother who abandons and lets her be beaten, Janet said firmly. James objected, but the judge silenced him. Then came my dreaded moment, Lily's testimony. The judge cleared the room to ease her. Lily entered, tiny in a green dress, clutching her stuffed dinosaur. Gently, the judge asked, "Lily, can you tell me what happened?" In a shaky but clear voice, she recounted Mike hitting her for breaking a glass, her mom saying she deserved it, and not comforting her. She spoke of nights alone, hungry, and escaping to find me because Aunt Anna loves me. Asked who she wanted to live with, Lily looked at me, eyes teary, and said, "I want Aunt Anna and Uncle Jack. They're my mom and dad." The room fell silent, some wiping tears. I bit my lip to hold back sobs, my heart bursting. James tried twisting Lily's words, asking if I coached her, but she shook her head, firm. "No, I'm telling the truth. Mommy doesn't want me." James paled, and the judge waved him down. Mark closed with Carl, the recanting witness. Carl admitted James threatened him over drug debts, and Sarah paid $1,000 to lie about me. He apologized, voice trembling, as the judge took stern notes. During final arguments, Sarah snapped, leaping up, screaming, "It's all lies. Anna stole my kid. She's trash." Pointing at me, face red, hair wild, she shoved James when he tried calming her, ranting about bought justice. The judge banged his gavel, threatening contempt. Security dragged Sarah out, still yelling, "I'd pay." James slumped, helpless for the first time. He glanced at me, lips moving like he wanted to apologize, then turned away. The judge recessed for an hour, the longest of my life. Jack and I sat in the hall, holding hands, silent. Finally, the judge returned. He terminated Sarah's parental rights, citing fraud, abandonment, and enabling abuse. He approved our adoption petition, making Jack and me Lily's legal parents immediately, waiving the usual wait due to extraordinary circumstances. He barred Mike from contacting Lily and ordered Sarah to repay the embezzled funds, with criminal charges pending. I sobbed, hugging Jack. Mark clapped my shoulder, grinning. "We did it, Anna." Leaving the courtroom, I saw James alone in the hall. He looked at me, saying softly, "I was wrong. Take care of Lily." I nodded, silent. Sarah might appeal, but today we won. Lily was ours. I raced to our friends to get Lily. She ran into my arms shouting, "Aunt Anna, I get to stay with you forever, right?" I knelt, hugging her, whispering, "Yes, sweetheart, forever." Lily beamed, her brightest smile yet, calling me Mom. In that moment, every pain, every tear was worth it. We gave Lily a real family, and nothing could take that away. The courtroom victory was a milestone, but true fulfillment came seeing Lily happy, safe in my arms. After the hearing, Jack and I brought her home, our small Logan Square apartment now filled with her laughter. We threw a small adoption party with close friends and Jack's parents. Lily wore her favorite green dress, dancing around the living room with her stuffed dinosaur, singing a kid's song about rainbows. Jack baked chocolate chip cookies, and I helped Lily decorate a handwritten sign, "Family Forever." When she called me Mom and Jack Dad, I turned away to wipe tears, hiding my sobs from the guests. It was the first time I felt a real family, not just blood, but love and sacrifice. In the weeks that followed, Lily regained her spark. We enrolled her in piano lessons, and each evening, her clear notes filled the house, a reminder she was healing. Jack and I took turns reading bedtime stories, doing silly voices for her beloved dinosaur books. Some nights, Lily still woke from nightmares, crying for me, when dreaming of Mike or Sarah. But I held her, whispering no one could hurt her anymore. Slowly, the nightmares faded, and her smile grew brighter daily. Sarah vanished from our lives. I heard she faced multiple charges: benefit fraud, attempted murder, violating restraining orders. James dropped the case, and I cut contact with Mom. Their betrayal left scars, but I learned to let go. Family isn't blood, it's those who stand by you no matter what. Jack and Lily were my family, and that was enough. Reflecting on this journey, I learned a hard truth: don't let family ties blind you to right and wrong. I once thought I had to protect Sarah because she was my sister, but that let Lily suffer too long. If you see someone, especially a child, being hurt, stand up, even against family or the world. Justice may be slow, but persistence and love win. I paid a steep price. Lost my wedding, savings, part of my family, but gained Lily, my life's light. I share this story not just to celebrate our win, but to urge you to act. If you know a child like Lily, neglected or hurt, speak up. Share this story to let the vulnerable know they're not alone. If you're fighting for what's right, don't quit. Lily's my daughter now, and daily, she reminds me every struggle is worth it when you fight for love. Thank you for listening. Leave a comment, share this story, and together we can protect kids like Lily, giving them a true home.